like who are you to speak the truth? Just look at all your failures and mistakes. And if they really knew you, there's no way they could love you anyway. Oh, but I will fight the lies with the truth. Whoa, keep my eyes fixed on you. I will sing the truth into the dark. I will use my fight.
Hello, and welcome to the Send Help Podcast, a podcast and a lifeline for moms who are stuck in the trenches of mommyhood, bringing them encouragement through Jesus, laughter, and sisterhood. Wow, I really just messed that up.
Never.
Welcome to Easter week, everyone. Can you believe we're here
Yeah.
already? Because I cannot.
No.
I am floored that we are already
I know.
here.
I know.
Whoa.
It's weird. I mean, there, it keeps coming up on my time hop though, of
Yeah.
like having already happened. And
Yeah.
I keep thinking in my head, like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, I know.
Because I don't feel like I'm ready for it.
Oh,
but then
no.
at the same time, it's like, oh, it's this weekend.
Yeah. I think that I have all of my shopping done.
I'm pretty sure I do too, but I keep thinking that I don't
Yeah.
and going and trying to find
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't know that I know where Josh's Easter basket is.
I spent $3 a piece and got the ones from Target that like come with the stickers that they can decorate. Because we cleared out a lot of stuff
That's
and
true.
a lot of our stuff is in storage. And I just kind of assumed that all of our Easter stuff is in storage.
Yeah.
And I kept forgetting to ask Dusty, hey, is our Easter stuff in storage? Will you go look for their Easter baskets? And, like there's the Easter egg hunt over here. And then Carson's got one at school this week. And I was like, I don't have time anymore to ask him to go look.
No.
So I just went and got like the little cheap plastic bucket, $3. Hey, y'all sit down and decorate these. And that will be a nice 10-minute activity.
I saw really cute ones at Michael's. Like so cute. And Tim was like, we're coming back to get those. And we never went back to get those.
Oh.
Yeah.
They might still have them. It's questionable,
Yeah.
but they might.
I
mean,
know.
they might be on clearance at this point.
This is true.
So
This is true.
it's worth a look.
Also, we still have our Christmas lights on our house. And
No.
the wreath.
You have Easter lights on your house.
No, we have the Christmas wreath still up on the on the roof. The pitch.
Just
underneath
go put some eggs on it.
I can't. That's the thing. Tim's work ladder got stolen off of his truck, and they are replacing it. It hasn't
doesn't have a
gotten
ladder.
here yet,
Yeah.
and his big ladder is too big.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's the ladder that the small ladder is the one that we need.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to borrow a ladder because he's like, I'm going to get
Mhm.
a ladder. And I'm like, babe, it's April. I don't want to put Easter decorations up until we take down the Christmas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, you could look at it this way. Easter is the celebration of his life, death, and resurrection. And his life includes his birth.
Okay. Did you talk to Tim? Is that what this is?
When you said that, I was like, about what? What am I supposed to talk to Tim about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You guys
I'm with you now.
Y'all conspired.
Not really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just turn those lights back on. It's fine.
They're kind of shaped like little eggs anyway.
There you go.
Aren't they? Are they pastels?
No, they are not. And they're not white either. So
not
we can't.
everybody uses pastel colors for Easter anymore anyway.
This is true, but
So.
I'm not tacky. So, well, right now I am. Lean in. Just lean into it.
That's really funny.
But yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. I
I
was
don't
gonna say
know.
something. I don't know why I said but. So it seems like I
Oh,
was gonna say
see,
something else.
that's already way past
Yeah,
in my mind. I forgot that you said but. I
it's
wasn't expecting you to say something
totally fine.
else. I've moved on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
I just found out that Josh has another school holiday on Friday through Tuesday. So he doesn't go back to school
Mm.
until Wednesday.
You know, I kind of I'm okay, Good Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for that to be a holiday.
Yeah, sure. Me
Um
too.
I would kind of like for Monday
Mm-hmm.
to be
Just
a
because
school
we have a
holiday just
lot going
because the
on.
weekend is
Yeah.
busy
Yeah.
and my kids especially, and I'm sure that there are other people that like their kids need that day to be at home and not do anything to be ready to go back
Yeah.
to school, but not Tuesday
Oh my
also.
gosh. We're just coming. We had
It was just spring
we
break.
had spring break and then we went straight into this huge fundraiser at school that was non-stop activity. It's called Apex. It was a week and a half long or 2 weeks long. They had people at the school every single day. Then it ended on this past Thursday where they had this huge blow up obstacle course. And we were out there from 8 o'clock until, and then we got rained on. The wind was blowing. It
Mm-hmm.
was cold. And then the kids won because they raised so much money. We did this sumo wrestling with the coach and the security officer. It's just been nonstop. Like Josh needs some routine again because
Mm-hmm.
his behavior got out of control. Like I got called out of church. Yeah.
He doesn't usually have behavior
No.
issues during church.
It's defiance. It was just full, just no. What? No.
Ooh.
Come in the hall and talk to me. No. I don't need to. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Oh no.
Fully causing a scene. And he was telling that to the kids pastor.
That's not like him.
No. So we went fully no screens for the rest of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunday after church, he came home and slept until 6:30. My child doesn't nap. He doesn't sleep
He
in.
needed that.
But he was done. And I think that it took all day Saturday and all day Sunday with no screens, no TV, no
Mhm.
nothing for
Yeah.
his brain to finally
Yes.
untangle.
Yeah.
And then he had an amazing day at school on Monday. I thought he was getting sick. I was like, uh-oh, is this what all of this is about? Because anytime we have any major behavior or like something that's crazy off at school
Mhm.
lately, it has just been the precursor to him getting really sick.
Oh,
And especially if he takes a nap or goes to sleep,
right.
I'm like, oh no, he's sick. But he's not sick at all. He's had so much
Stimulation.
stimulation and dysregulation
Yeah.
of schedule and all of
Mhm.
that. And I was like, finally, we're going to go back to normal. And then they're going to take STAR test, which is like in 2 weeks. And it's at the end of April. But now we have another break.
Yeah. And why is it so hard to keep them on some kind of schedule when they're at home?
Oh my gosh. I know.
Like, it is so hard.
I'm like, what are we going to do?
Every time
can't-
we have a break, my kids get way out of whack
Yeah.
because I'm like, I just don't know it's not summer.
No, I have one child. Yeah, I know. When you have multiples, I feel like it would be easier to get them involved. Like they can
With
play
each
with
other,
each other.
yes.
You can send them outside. They
Yes.
can do stuff. Josh has, I mean, he's creative and he's got this whole world, but it's all like he draws, he animates, he does all that, but it's all on the tablet. He goes outside, he makes movies. He, edits his movies and everything all on the tablet, but he's outside. He's jumping on the trampoline, he's recording himself. It's all outside, but it's on he's using a tablet.
Mhm.
But that's how he's playing and he's being creative by himself. If I take the tablet away, he's like,
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
Right.
Or he just sits and draws. And I love that he's sitting still. It's great, but he's overstimulated in his brain when he's just sitting
Right.
and drawing because he gets hyper focused and it's hard to break him from that. And then we have to it's so much work to okay, well, let's go get some heavy work in. Let's go get your joints, let's get some deep
Right.
pressure. Let's get, and I'm going, I don't know what to do with him right now. Like, he's 10. He doesn't want to go do the same stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't spend the money to take him to all the cool places to go, let's go do this. Let's go do this.
Right.
Like, Fossil Rim used to be something that you could just an option to do. Now it's $100 basically to go. And I'm like, that's lovely. It's wonderful, but it's not something that we can just go do now. It's
Yeah.
it's awesome, and I know why. I
took the
understand
kids
why
one
it's
weekend
expensive.
when it was like a 4-day
Yeah,
weekend,
yeah,
and we'd never been.
yeah,
And I've been wanting to go, so we took them. And yeah, that was kind of my thought too, of like, let's go do this. Oh, and it will be a while before we come back.
yeah. And we used to have zoo passes. We don't have zoo passes anymore. We used to have, passes to the museum. We don't have that anymore. And it just feels like a waste of money to go just once.
Mm-hmm.
And
But I mean, passes for all of the places adds up, though.
yeah,
It really does.
yeah.
And then renewing all of them.
And I'm not going to
you
do
know,
that because
yeah.
he's not that interested in going all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the exhibits at his favorite museums are getting more and more inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm dreading this break.
Yeah.
There's only so many times that I can tell him to go jump on the trampoline.
Come up with a project that he could spend the 5 days working on. I mean, other than Easter activities.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but
I don't know. Like, my parents were never like that involved in my playtime. You know what I mean? I feel
that way too.
Yeah, I feel like I have to do all of the
When
things
only
with him.
one
And
is
I'm
at
not
home.
I'm not like, I am so grateful for my child and I love him and I love that we
Right.
get to play together. But
when
I
you're
need-
responsible, like when you're the one person that's responsible for entertaining that child for
coming
5
up
days
with
straight,
all of the activities,
it gets hard.
especially coming off of Easter. And I've got a ton of things that I got to get done
Right.
also.
And
I
I've been
don't-
having that with Carson. He turns 5 this month.
Mhm.
He's going to go to kindergarten next year. And I've been caught in this struggle of he cannot play by himself. He has grown up with 2 older siblings and they play together. And then when the girls go to school, he doesn't know what to do anymore
Mhm.
because he can't be this character and this character.
Yeah.
If he plays hide and seek, I have to go find him. Like, it's a constant struggle of, you can go play by yourself.
Mhm.
Well, I want you to play with me. Well, I can't right now. And then I have like this huge mom guilt of this
Oh
is
my
it with
gosh,
him.
the mom guilt.
The girls are about to be out of school. This is my time with him and I will never get it back. So I'm trying to find the balance between stopping what I'm doing and playing a game with him. And then also, I kind of feel like it's important for him to figure out how to play by himself.
Yeah.
And I need him, but I mean, I want him to figure that out, but I also need him to figure that out. So it's been a back and forth. And then also not just saying, go get on your tablet.
Mhm. Yes.
We went, we have had issues. So several weeks ago, before spring break, we stopped. They had 2 days that week that they had 30 minutes on their tablets and we didn't turn the TV on. It was really nice. Like we read a book to them before they went to bed instead of watching a show together. And I mean, just different things like making them go play
Mm-hmm.
and get to that point of boredom where they find something to do. And it's beautiful to watch it all playing out.
Yeah.
Spring break, there was no television or internet. So it was not an option the entire week of spring break.
Are we going to talk about spring break?
Yeah, we'll talk about spring break.
Ah!
And we were doing really good on when you get home from school, you can have like 10 minutes to kind of decompress, have some alone time, watch something and zone out for 10, 15 minutes. But then y'all need to play and we're going to be a family and, interact with one another. But then when the tummy bug hit our house, that all kind of went out the window because like you're laying on the couch all day. Yeah, let's watch some movies. And we've struggled to get it back under control.
Yeah.
Coming off of the tummy bug.
Absolutely.
Like we really have, because now it took a week and a half for them to get off of the screens and not want to be on them.
Yeah.
It took 2 days. 24 hours because, sleep time overnight. So I'm only going to count 24 hours of the 2 days.
Yeah.
For them to get back on it.
Yeah.
And I want to watch on my tablet. I want to watch this. No, sorry. And have the fits again.
Yeah.
So it's been a struggle to rein that back in after no restrictions because they were sick and just laying on the couch and there's nothing else that you can do.
Absolutely.
No, don't play with your toys because I don't want to have to get every single magnet from the magnetiles out and Lysol every single magnet and then flip them all over and Lysol every single, I don't want to have to go through and clean every single toy that y'all have gotten out.
Yeah.
So let's watch something. And it ruined everything. But
yeah,
we're working on it. They have 20 minutes a day right now.
Yeah.
Next week we'll probably every other day and just whittle it back down.
Yeah. We have gone back to very restricted time on the tablet because I don't want him, because it is such a huge outlet for him. So right now we're at like 45 minutes to an hour a day because it's not just him watching.
Right. It's all of the stuff that he does on it. Yeah.
Procreator. He's using Flip-a-Clip. He's doing stop motion. He's using iMovie. He's doing all these things.
Yeah.
So I don't I look at it as this is a part of his future. And he's doing amazing things. But I'm having him set a timer and I'm setting a timer. And I'm like, you are also responsible for this timer.
Yeah.
And when it's done, I want you to bring it and you're going to put it in my room. And he's like, what? It can be charged in my room. I'm like, but the accountability comes with you bringing it to my room. So,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. When we started, okay, we've got to do something about their screen time. Like it's getting out of hand, their attitudes, like it absolutely affects their mindset, their attitudes, the way that they treat each other.
Absolutely.
The way that they talk to us.
Yeah.
Like it was obvious the more time they spend on their screen, this is their behavior. When we limit their screen, it just became so obvious to us. We've got to cut down on screen times. So we find this place that it's not even going to be an option. There's no television in this place. They don't have Wi-Fi. And we can ride horses. There's goats. They can go chase the chickens. There's cows. Like This sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
I can see the vibe. I can see the vibe
It
you're going
sounds
for. Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
And there's no option of
absolutely.
we've worn ourselves out today. Let's go watch a movie.
Yeah.
Like it not even an
No.
option.
No.
Mom,
No.
I'm bored and it's spring break. We're gonna watch this.
Mm-mm.
Not even an option.
No.
There's no Wi-Fi, so their tablets aren't even gonna work. We didn't even take the tablets.
Wow.
Theoretically, it was fitting exactly into our plan of a cold turkey getting off of screens.
Yeah.
It was like this 500-acre ranch, right? That we could just go run around on.
You know what sounds
so
like fun
much to
me?
do.
Sounds like fun to me is cold turkey anything. Cold
Right?
turkey sounds like that you say cold turkey and I think that's going to
It
be a
wasn't
great
really
time.
cold turkey because we had started the process the week before.
Right.
Yeah. So it wasn't straight up like you've been on the tablet for 3 hours every day and now all of a sudden there's nothing. Like it wasn't really cold turkey.
Do you know
They were
another
prepared
time,
for it.
Another time that you have to go cold turkey immediately? Prison.
They have screens. They have screen time. So,
Tell us about your trip.
okay, so we were really excited. This place is going to be awesome. It was a renovated barn. The pictures looked amazing. The upstairs was decorated really nice. There was this huge porch. It's on a 500-acre ranch that you basically, like, other than them like going out and feeding the cows and taking care of their livestock, like you're the only one out there.
Oh, sure.
Although then when we got there, I was like, oh wait, there's campsites and there's like college kids camping over there. I prayed so hard for them that week and they eventually left. But so I was excited. I was like, we're going to go hang out with cows. There's going to be so many babies. It's spring break. Like there's going to be so many babies. And there were like 5 calves.
We are so different.
There were baby goats that had just been born. Like they were like a week old.
Yeah.
I was like, Annabelle's going to be in heaven because she loves animals.
Yes.
Avery's going to be able to ride. Who knows about Carson?
We're going to figure him out.
We're going to figure him. Like he's so hit or miss on things. We were super excited. Like we're going to go exploring on this ranch. Like, just go for walks and there's trails apparently. I don't know if anyone ever found a trail, but like we went for walks. They didn't last for long. So
I don't know if anyone found a trail, but yeah.
There was no getting lost because we were in the Panhandle and it's just flat, open. You can see for miles. There was no getting lost at this place. We didn't need a trail because you could look around. There it is and walk towards it. So we got there. I'm not going to go into every single thing because there's just too much. Okay. It was not a renovated barn so much as they had closed in a portion of it.
Yes. Yes.
The wind was so strong. The doors were sealed, but they weren't sealed perfectly. So
the inside was
there
outside was inside.
Yeah, there was dirt. There was just always a constant
flow of dirt
on the floor. So, when your kids all run in and throw themselves on the floor to start playing.
Yeah.
And then they get up and they're filthy and you're inside. It's like, okay. And like, I had to tell myself, it's like camp. It's like camp. I spent half of my life attending summer camps.
It's like camp, but
You have to just
your
accept
bunkmate-
in your mind
right.
that this is just how it's going to be. And then you're good while you're at camp.
Your bunkmate is a cow.
Your bunkmate is a cow. We laid down to sleep at night and the cow was on the other side of the wall. You
Right.
could hear them mooing.
Right.
Like it was,
Yeah.
yeah. You walked outside and there's a cow right there.
But Kristy couldn't smell anything.
I couldn't smell anything.
Because she had just had COVID.
So I don't know if the smell was one of the things seeping into the lodging
That was
area
a
or not. I have
blessing.
no idea.
I'm just going to tell you it was a blessing.
Yeah.
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 Because,
Yeah.
it was a barn.
It was.
And there was a cow on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get there at 5:30, 6 o'clock
Mhm.
Monday evening. I was a little unsure of the place. Like, do we need to stay
Yeah. Yeah.
or not?
Uh-huh.
So we're thinking horseback riding. We're supposed to do that tomorrow. Let's wait. Let's see about the horseback riding.
Yeah. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
We at least can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it from there. If we
Right.
leave after that, we leave after that,
Yeah,
whatever.
Because we came for the horses and the animals.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the next morning, the temperature dropped like 40 degrees and it sleeted for 2 hours. There's nothing out there, y'all. So if it sleets for 2 hours, it's muddy for 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, like the sun never came out to dry it up. So it sleeted for 2 hours. Dusty contacted the person. He was like, hey, what does the ground look like for us being able to do this today? The arena was way too muddy. Can't do it today.
Yeah.
But tomorrow is supposed to be nicer
Mhm.
and like get up into the 60s. So let's shoot for that. We didn't leave that day. We didn't go outside. We tried to go for a walk. We took Hank with us. So, you know, every now and then we had to take him out anyway.
Mhm.
The wind was like 30 miles an hour and it did not let up the entire time.
Oh my gosh.
There were times that we had to go pick up furniture that was on the porch and like take it back up to the porch. For real. So,
Did you take any pictures?
I took a lot of pictures.
I wanna
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. I took a lot of pictures. So it was so windy that going out, the wind like bit you because the wind was cold. So as the wind is hitting you, like your ears, and it's like, we didn't bring like toboggans and gloves and all of that. Like this is spring break in Texas. It's not supposed to be cold.
Yeah.
We checked the forecast every day up until Monday morning when we were leaving. It was supposed to be in the 60s the entire time. They had like hoodies. That was the thickest thing that they had.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So even like, hey, let's just do it. Let's just go for a walk. And they went because I was still recovering from COVID.
Yeah.
I had lost my voice
Yeah. Oh,
and
gosh.
couldn't speak the entire time until about Thursday. I think Thursday was the first day that like I had a voice and could talk. So I did not go on the walk.
No.
But I was told that like they went down into a little ravine and that helped cut the wind a little bit and it was a lot nicer and they kind of hung out there for a while before they continued their walk, but it still didn't last very long. I'm not sure exactly because I'm pretty sure I fell asleep. And then when they came in, it woke me up and I have no idea how much time passed. Like that was our Tuesday. When we were heading out on Monday morning, I passed this little like shoebox size tub of action figures.
Mhm.
And something, Holy Spirit told me to take it.
Yeah, because you didn't pack.
I did not pack because
you
I was
had
sick.
COVID.
I did not test negative until right before we left the house. Like,
Yeah.
I packed a bag, swabbing my nose, waiting the 15 minutes. And it was like super faint line. Like, I don't know if this counts or not. Wait a couple hours. Dusty's loading the car, swab my nose. Oh, we got a negative. All right, we can go. So yeah, I had nothing to do with the purchasing of food or the packing, the kids packing.
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine that. I
Yeah,
cannot
I packed my
imagine
bag.
that.
I packed my bag and that was it.
Even if I wrote out detailed lists for Tim, it just something would have gotten left. Not that
Right.
he's amazing at following the list, but I
Mhm.
would have forgotten something off the list.
Yes.
And like when I'm packing, I see things and I'm like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, I need to make sure I grab
Yes.
that.
And I had the thought of we should take like ladder ball or cornhole or take the softball and gloves
Mhm.
or we should take some outside activities.
Yeah.
Maybe some board games, but we had also just packed up half of our belongings and put into storage.
Yes.
A lot of that stuff is in storage.
Yeah.
So on the way out the door, I grabbed this box of action figures. That is what they played with the entire week.
Gosh.
So we made it horseback riding on Wednesday, but we had gone into town, which we were near Shamrock, Texas, on Route 66, which y'all I heard on the radio because there was a radio in the place that picked up a local station. You've got to love the local country station.
Oh, yes.
The conversations that they have, the
Absolutely.
DJs, like it's just, I love it. I love small town local stations. So I'm listening to the radio show, which is the DJ that calls some business owner and they have like a 20-minute conversation. And that's like a segment of the show. So I'm listening to this and I find out the Conoco Tower that they used and replicated in the movie Cars is in Shamrock.
Wow.
I was like, what? And like they've reopened the diner and there's like a little museum in the Greyhound bus station area and all of the, the gas, whatchamacallits,
That's so cool.
are still like the city purchased it and like renovated it and made it look exactly like it used to.
Wow.
It was so cool.
That's
So we went and did that. And that was really cool. And then we went and rode horses and we were like, hey, that diner is a soda shop with ice cream. And they opened like for like from 2 to 5 or something like that. Let's go get some ice cream. It was closed. He had to go help his dad do something.
Yeah.
So it was closed. So we get online and start looking around. Oh, there's a diner down the street over here. Go, park, get everyone out of the car, which Hank is in the car with us because like you're not supposed to leave your dog unattended if they're not crated. Hank's in the car with us trying to like leave the windows cracked and come back in and like the rain has like come in and my door's completely wet. Okay, whatever, but Hank could breathe. There's a sign on their door back at 4:30. Like, we just want some ice cream, okay? So we, get back on Google. What is there anything else around here that we can just go get some ice cream? We told the kids we were going to get ice cream. At this point, like you can't take it back, Drive down to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we all know that
That's your
McDonald's.
first mistake.
How many of us have ordered and gotten the response, "Oh, we're cleaning the machine today."
Those must be the cleanest machines.
I know, right? And I'm thinking in my head,
They make one Sunday.
please don't clean the machines on Wednesdays. Please don't clean the machines on Wednesday. No, they were cleaning their machines. So at this point, we just drove around to waste time until 4:30 came around that the other place would be open again.
Oh my gosh.
We're there waiting at the door when she comes back. She's got to like turn all the lights back on, and everything. We're the only ones there. We order sundaes, milkshake, Coke float, The machine kept tripping the breaker.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
She got like 1 cup of ice cream for the Sunday, for one Sunday, and she was making a shake, and there was no more ice cream after that. It's like, we just want ice cream. We can't go outside and explore this ranch. We pet a couple goats this morning. We rode the horses. Yes, that was amazing. There is literally nothing else for us to do.
Oh my
We've
gosh.
already played with every single action figure for one entire day solid. We cannot go back and make them play with these action figures again. There's no television.
No. We went cold turkey.
We went cold turkey with the television. There's no Wi-Fi, so no. There is literally nothing else to do. We just want some ice cream. So we ended up splitting this one tiny sundae into different cups.
Oh my god.
And she poured chocolate syrup on them and put a cherry on all of them. So they had this little taste of ice cream. We went to the dollar store, bought a pint of ice cream, and took it back.
That's what
to the barn.
Done. We would have just gone and bought ice cream at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then Thursday, hey, we got really interested in the whole Route 66 thing.
Yeah.
Because of the Conoco Tower.
Yes.
Had no idea that we were close to Route 66. Really. I didn't. I had no idea. We didn't use Route 66 to get there. Decided we're in the Panhandle. Let's drive out to Cadillac Ranch. I have always wanted to go there.
Absolutely.
So we drive out there
Mm-hmm.
the next day.
Yes.
By the time we get there, it's sleeting again. So we did, when we went to the dollar store to get the ice cream, we also got the last gloves and toboggans that they had in the store.
Perfect.
It took us an hour to even look through all of the piles of stuff to find them. But we found them. Everyone had a toboggan. Everyone had gloves. So put those on, no jackets.
No.
But, we had toboggan and gloves. So we had our umbrellas, holding them at the right angle as we walk out. It's the kind of mud that sticks to you and makes you 20 pounds heavier. And then you end up sliding with every step. We get out there. The kids are they've got the look on their face of I can't even smile for the picture because the wind is slapping me in the face and it kind of hurts. But
Oh my gosh.
Took 2 pictures. Let's walk back. One of the pictures that I have of Cadillac Ranch is of the kids holding their umbrellas in front of them like a shield.
No.
Leaning into them, putting your weight into
Oh my
it
gosh.
because it's 30-mile-an-hour wind, it's going to knock you over. And especially if you get that umbrella at the wrong angle, you're going to fly away. So holding the umbrellas like a shield in front of you, their umbrellas are clear.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was not. So I was very heavily relying on my children, my 8, 6, and 4-year-old, to let me know where we're going
Oh
because I couldn't see anything.
my gosh.
All I knew was that there's 3 inches of mud on my shoes, on all of our shoes. They had their hiking boots on because I said that like on the way out. I was like, hey, if we're going to be walking around a ranch, let's take our hiking boots. I couldn't find mine. Mine were in storage. So I just had my sneakers. I had to wash those things like 4 times to get them back to a normal color. Like spray them,
No.
wash them, spray them, wash them. So that was an adventure. And then we drove through Palo Duro Canyon
Yeah.
because Dusty's dad is from Canyon. So we drove around Palo Duro Canyon. By the time we left Palo Duro Canyon, it was snowing on us. With the 30-mile-an-hour wind, then the gusts are stronger than that.
Yeah.
So it's like a blizzard. It was like in Star Wars when they hit the light speed and
Yeah.
that's what it looked like while we were driving for a while.
Oh my gosh.
I actually fell asleep in the car
That's
in the middle of a blizzard
it's fine.
while Dusty was driving.
It's fine.
There was just something about it.
Yeah.
It like lulled me to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know. And plus, I was coming off of COVID.
You're exhausted.
I was exhausted.
There's nobody else would
Yeah.
choose to do what you did.
So we got back, we ate dinner, we went to bed, we got up the next morning and left. I'm amazed that we actually found things to do for that many days. The kids were troopers.
Yeah.
They really were. Hank loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. And we probably have to take him on every vacation now.
Mm-hmm.
He had so much fun.
I bet he did.
And after losing Sophie,
yeah.
it made my heart happy
To see
to
him
see
happy.
Hank so happy.
Yeah.
I was like, you deserve it, buddy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's a dog, y'all. He's like 12 years old.
I know, but
He
he's
could
living his
barely
best
get in the
life.
car. But I tell you what, we got out of the car at Palo Duro Canyon to take a picture. He almost took off. He was like, yes, let's do this. It's like starting to like sprinkle snow. Like you
Yeah.
could tell, oh, these
Yeah.
are snowflakes, not raindrops. Like
Yeah.
you could tell,
Yeah.
like it's about to start snowing. He loved it. He loved that it was cold. He loved that there was something coming down on him.
Yeah.
He was like, is that a trail that we're seeing right here?
Yeah.
And he was like, his tail was just going nuts. He was in his element. He was ready to go hiking. And we were like, nope, sorry. We're just going to take a picture right here at the front of the trail.
So the
We're
truth
not going
is,
on the trail.
Hank can move.
Hank can move.
He just
He
has no
chooses
place
not
to
to.
go.
Yes. Yeah.
If you get him in the car.
Put him in the car and take us somewhere, and he's all over it.
Yeah.
He loved it. Oh my
Maybe you
goodness.
should like take him to the lake and stuff. Let him
Well,
go
I used
swimming.
to.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. He's just
And then we had children.
he's just remembering
Yes, he
how
was
to
like-
dog.
Yes. He was probably like, Sophie's gone and I'm back, baby. Like,
No.
no, he misses her.
Yeah.
But my kids were happy. My dog was happy. And we had an adventure.
Yeah. Now you said last time that Hank tried to take on a bull.
He did. He did.
I love it.
The bull was super friendly. I wasn't out there. I was just watching the whole thing
Mm-hmm.
take place
Mhm.
and getting really nervous. Dusty said that the bull was like super interested in them and wanted to be friends, but Hank was growling and like pulling at the leash and like trying to go after the bull. And the bull stood there for a minute looking at him, like kind of looking back and forth at them, like, are really? And then finally turned around and walked away.
He's like, really, bro?
Yeah.
Really?
Really, dude? I see dogs around here all the time and none of them have a problem with me. So, I mean, there were a lot of dogs on the property that, cow dogs.
Yeah.
That they use. It was really funny because when we came back from horseback riding, one of the cows had gotten out. And Dusty and I were like, we can get the cow back in the gate. Like, it's not a big deal. But we had to leave the kids in the car on the other side of the gate and then get out and go, get behind it. And I was standing on the other side so it wouldn't come this way, Well, she drove up and her dog was in the back of her truck and she like gave her dog the command to go get the cow. Her dog took off running, like jumped out of the bed of the truck, took off running, went through the fence after all the cows in the pasture and round them up, had them in a circle. Like, it was amazing to watch, but he totally like ran straight past the cow that was on the side of the road. So we still were like herding the cow back inside.
That's funny.
It was really funny because we were like, oh yeah, come on, Sam, do your thing. And he went and rounded up all the other cows.
He's like, no, that's small potatoes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
I'm going to go for that grouping over there, not the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, y'all got this. It's fine. But,
cow dogs aren't shepherds.
No, they're not. Hank would have been able to shepherd the dog,
Yeah.
but he just barked at them
Yeah.
instead. But I had to, come on. Like,
Come on.
come on.
Come on.
Come on. Like,
yeah.
I was feeling it. And if anyone doesn't know what that's from,
McLeod's Daughters.
McLeod's Daughters.
Yes.
You will hate to love it.
Yes.
So
you'll love it and then you'll hate us
Yeah.
for telling you about it.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's kind of what it felt like. Like, it was a mom and her daughter that ran this 500-acre ranch.
That's the real reason you went.
And it was very McLeod's Daughter-ish.
That's
and we were
the
like,
real
this is
reason.
going to be awesome.
Yep.
You could, like, they're like, hey, we have organic grass-fed beef. If you, tell us before you get here. Here's our listing of what we have. We'll put some in the fridge for you. This place is going to be awesome. And if the weather had been right, it could have been. We saw Dusty's dad over the weekend, and he had this very knowing look on his face. And he was like, how was that trip? Was the weather all right? And we were like, no. And he just started laughing. And we had 2 or 3 people tell us while we were there, this is the worst time of year to come up here.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been on a trip specifically to this area. Like, I've driven through it, but I've never taken a trip here and vacated here. Like, vacate, not vacated. I've vacated quickly, but I've never vacated here before. He was like, yeah, you got to go in the summer. You could have told us that 3 weeks ago. Not really, but he was waiting for our answer and he just cracked up laughing. Like, he knew. He grew up in Canyon, so he knew that it was a horrible time of year to go up there. He's like, how many different kinds of weather did you have? Oh, 3 or 4. It was great.
Dude, that's crazy.
It was like a constant series of, this is not going to be what you thought it was.
Yeah.
Every single thing that we encountered, there was a potbelly stove that we had to light a fire in every day because the temperature dropped into the 30s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was how you heated
everything. Yes.
So, I mean, there was like a normal stove and oven to cook with.
Mm-hmm.
Praise Jesus.
Yes.
But yeah, the temperature dropped. We woke up that next morning and it was in the 30s. And I looked at Dusty. I was like, time for you to start a fire. Do we know how to operate a potbelly?
You're like, I'll watch.
Yeah. I don't start fires.
No,
It's not a good
no.
idea.
No.
It's not a good idea.
No, we all
at
have our giftings,
all.
and that is
Yeah,
not mine.
It's not mine. It's not okay for me to be responsible for chopping of anything to prepare for dinner, and it's not okay for me to light the fire for anything.
I married an Eagle Scout. I don't need to. I don't have to ever start a
Yeah.
fire.
I don't. Dusty won't let me.
No.
He knows.
Tim has never asked me.
Right. Yeah, he's never asked
Never
me,
once
hey, I need you to
has
go
he
start that
said,
fire for me.
You should start this fire.
Yeah.
Nope. Fire is his
He
wheelhouse.
watches me cut things and you can see like the anxiety wash over his face.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to do that for you? I got this. And if it's bothering you, you should look away.
Look away. Should we talk about something spiritual?
Man, the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just like nothing seemed to work out, but at the same time it did.
Right. Just
Just
not your
not
expectation.
the way that we thought it was going to.
Right.
You
It's
know?
yeah, that's a God thing for sure.
It worked. The kids had a blast.
Oh, this is going to be their favorite ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
They had a blast.
Mm-hmm.
And they enjoyed all of the things.
Yes.
All of the things, including the one entire day that was spent playing with those like 5 action figures.
Right.
And I kept thinking, there's so much. I can't not share my spring break.
No.
And I didn't even go into detail, y'all.
No,
That's like a very overview synopsis of spring break. Like it really, really is.
Yeah.
That was the short version, even though it probably took 20 minutes. That was the short version. And I kept thinking like, okay, I don't know if I'm ready to talk about this. I don't want to just talk about unmet expectations again.
No.
Like that's like beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
There's unmet expectations in everything that we do. And I know we've talked about it a few times in different ways.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go back to that.
But there's so much blessing in the
But
unmet
there was-
expectation. and we
yeah.
haven't talked about that necessarily.
Right. Yeah. And this morning, I'm thinking about, if I keep putting off talking about spring break, then I'm just never going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And there's so much goodness in there. I need to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But what direction do I need to go with this? And I've been doing the chronological study. I just finished Joshua. So I have just finished the 40-year journey and entering the promised land. So my mind naturally went to the Israelites.
I mean, but it always does.
It always does. I was like, God, I am not like going to tell God no. Like, God, I am not going to talk about the Israelites again. Like, I just can't. This is not like, no, I can't keep going back to the Israelites. And I will say, doing the chronological study, I have realized a lot that I have been missing. For instance, I have never read the portion of Joshua where it tells specifically what tribes took what cities and towns. Why would I read that? Why do I need to know that? I will tell you why. Because in my head, the Israelites were nomadic people and they moved into the promised land. But then during the time of the judges, everyone else kept taking over. So, okay, let's have a king. Well, then, fast forward and in the New Testament, they're all under the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, they're not living in the promised land anymore. They had to have moved. Because why would Rome be ruling the area that they were given by God?
Yeah.
So as I'm reading names of towns like Bethlehem, Jerusalem, Nazareth. Like, what? You're telling me that they didn't leave the promised land.
No,
They're still there.
they're still there.
So like it kind of made me excited to read the stupid boring
all
stuff.
the land
I just said
stuff.
something in the
The stupid and boring
God
stuff.
forgive me. It's not. It's no, okay.
That's why all the conflict over the land and the territory is
Right.
so prevalent now, and why it's such a big part of the end
Yes.
times.
And why they were looking for a king
Yes.
to overthrow Rome.
Yes.
So they could have their land back.
Yeah.
Duh. Duh.
It makes sense now.
Yes. Then I just felt like an idiot.
No.
Because, you have, whether you grow up going to church or not,
Mm-hmm.
things just settle in your mind.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You hear the Sunday school version of all of the Old Testament stories.
Mhm.
So when you're an adult, you think, oh, I know that. But you don't. You know the Sunday school version of it,
Yes.
which has been cleaned up.
Big time.
They don't talk about all of the killing and the battles and the wars and the incest
And the circumcision.
and prostitution and circumcision.
So much circumcision.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out because, they all did it.
Yes.
But then they never did it to their kids. So then Joshua had to make them all do it again.
Yeah.
If this is a covenant, why aren't you doing it to your... Anyway, I'm not going to pretend to understand the mind of the Israelites.
Right.
Because, they make me feel better about my life and
Yes.
choices that I make and
Yes.
thinking and like, well, yeah, they couldn't figure it out either.
Which
like,
is
we're
probably
human.
why God brings it back
Yes.
up with you all the
All the
time.
time.
Yes.
But I'm like, why was this not like an established custom?
Mhm.
Didn't he tell you to do it to your kid? Okay, never mind. Anyway.
Okay. But how many things in your life should be an established custom
Right?
and you don't do
And
it?
you don't do it. So like I'm finding out a lot
I
of
don't make
things.
my bed every day. I
Right?
should. And it is an established
It's
custom
more
from when I was a
comfortable.
child.
Yes, me too. It's more comfortable when you get back in at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's
So I'm
definitely-
finding out a lot of things because I'm reading this chronological and like if you skip the stuff that you don't want to read, then you're skipping a day of reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's your reading for the day. You can't skip it.
Which is why I haven't really started. I got the same Bible so that we could be on the same reading plan, and there's so much pressure
To not
because
I'm like a week behind.
Can I just start right here? Because I feel like I
Yes.
need to go back and read
No,
from
just
January
start. No,
1st.
just start in April on whatever today is, and then just continue through.
But can I? I mean,
So like December 31st hits, then January 1st, you just go back
but I
to the
just
beginning.
missed all of the promises.
Well, that's true. You're going to have to make that call for yourself. Because you can start now and read through and then just go back in January, but you're right, you would miss the beginning of the story. So, I can't tell you an answer for that.
Ugh.
But I do know that
Keep going. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail.
my thought process and things that I just assumed without actually knowing,
Mhm.
like that the people of Israel just migrated again later.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
Not true.
No.
They never
Yeah.
left.
Mhm.
So this morning,
Yes.
so much like unmet expectation is really the only way that I can classify spring break.
Yeah.
I mean, really. But this morning, God pointed out to me what I heard specifically was, how do you think Peter felt during Holy Week?
Ooh. Right?
And I feel like I have really gotten to know Peter on a personal level
Yeah.
because of The Chosen.
Oh.
He is one of the main highlighted disciples on that show. Which I can't wait to see how this week actually plays out. They like that actor and the way that he portrays Simon, I feel like is going to be amazing when they actually get to this. Kind of excited about it. But never mind. I was going to say something that's a super huge rabbit trail that we were talking about earlier with Philip.
Okay. Well, I
But,
really want you to talk to me about it later. Side note.
If I remember what it was, I will.
Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, him saying, how do you think Peter felt about it? Like, it really kind of resonated because he is one that on that show has been highlighted, and how he processes all of the gospel so far, thus far. I think the end of the last season was walking on water. So thus far of him being called, Jesus starting his journey and his ministry, and Peter really being a strongly developed character on the show. When God said to me this morning, how do you think Peter felt during Holy Week? I was like, I can, like, that resonated so well because I could see that person's face and imagine how he as a person would react to all of these things.
Yeah.
So this morning I started with Matthew 26 and I just started reading through everything. And Matthew 26 starts with the plot against Jesus. The woman pouring the perfume over his head, the Lord's Supper, Peter's denial.
Yeah.
And goes through the garden, you know, him praying in the garden, being arrested, going before the Sanhedrin, and then Peter disowning Jesus. Well, okay, so the heading of Jesus predicts Peter's denial is the first one. And then chapter 26 ends with Peter actually disowning Jesus. The rest of the story of the crucifixion continues after that. But even just going through this one chapter of the beginning of the story where Holy Week starts with the Last Supper, none of it is what not only the Israelites and God's people and the Jewish people, but the disciples themselves. Like, they were human. They had expectations. They were learning in probably the most amazing way possible.
Yeah.
And quickly.
Yeah.
Because it was literally being spoken directly to them.
Right.
But they were human and they did not know what was going on.
Right.
They're watching all of these miracles play out. They're following his ministry. They're supporting his ministry. They're helping him in his ministry. They're going out on missions during this time and then coming back to him and learning more and going on with him as Jesus travels. None of this is what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
None of it.
Right.
First of all, most of the people expected him to actually overthrow Rome.
Yeah, to physically, like, that he was gonna physically come against them.
You know, just like in the time of the judges. He's going to come with his sword. He's going to overthrow the government and we will have our land again. It'll come back into our inheritance.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened.
Yeah.
So he was throwing those all kinds of expectations out the window
Yeah.
his entire life, his entire ministry, while fulfilling prophecy.
Yes. 26
I don't know.
prophecies. I think 26.
I don't know.
I don't know. I may be wrong. There may be more.
But even because I got out my huge, ginormous study Bible this morning. So I was also reading all of the little footnotes and commentaries in it.
Oh no, it was 26 prophecies just on Palm Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So fulfilling scriptures that I don't even know because I haven't read them. Because I haven't read all of the minor prophets.
Yeah.
Or even really all of the major prophets.
Yeah.
I've read portions of them. But like one of the footnotes was from Zechariah. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever opened that book. Let me go back and see what it says.
Which one? Zechariah 9:9?
No, I don't remember. I should have written it down. I think it was chapter 13. Talking about the shepherd and his flock will be scattered.
Ooh, that's a rough one.
I think it was that one because it specifically was talking about. I gotta find it now. I'm gonna say it wrong. Where is it? There it is. On that day, a fountain will be opened to the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to cleanse them from sin and impurity. Right?
Yeah.
I will banish the names of the idols from the land, and they will be remembered no more. I will remove both the prophets and the spirit of impurity from the land, which there was a footnote on that I went and read. And it was from 1 Kings. I don't remember where, but it was from 1 Kings. And I went and read it, and it was a spirit came and said, I want to go mess with them. And had a conversation with God. And basically it was establishing false prophets.
Wow. Wow.
So this, I will remove both the prophets, is talking about a verse. And there was another one also. There was one in 1 Kings and there was one somewhere else. And I don't remember about him removing those false prophets and the spirit of impurity from the land. And then in verse 7, it starts talking about, awake, O sword, against my shepherd, against the man who is close to me, declares the Lord Almighty. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered, and I will turn my hand against them. The shepherd is going to be struck.
Yeah.
And the disciples scattered a little bit.
Yeah, they did.
But anyway, that's kind of a rabbit hole also, because really the whole thing, and it kind of starts playing out during the Lord's Supper when he says, one of you will betray me. And they're all like, whoa, hold on. They're expecting this to just be a Passover feast.
Yeah.
They're literally just expecting, hey, Jesus, what are our plans for Passover? Do we need to start getting a feast together? What's the plan? He tells them, hey, go find this guy. Tell him the Lord wants to feast for the Passover at your house and he's going to take care of it. And then that's what happens. And they're at this house and they're having their Passover feast. And then he starts saying, one of you is going to betray me. That had to catch them off guard. Wait, hold on. We're having Passover. What are you talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
And my study Bible said that this would have been the third cup of wine. When he raises the glass and says, drink of the, it would have been the third cup of wine in the meal. And I don't know about anyone else, but
they're warm. They're warm and toasty.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So who knows how they're receiving this and probably thinking dude, what are you even talking about? All right, yeah, let's all drink of this cup. What are you saying? You're breaking the bread. Eat of this. This is my body. All right, I guess we're going to have to think about this. Like everything else that he says to us, we're
What
going to have to think
percent
about this and ask
alcohol
some questions
do you
later.
think their wine was?
I don't know. I know it wouldn't matter for me,
But no, I mean, if it's a red wine, that goes straight to my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, one glass. And I don't think they're pouring the baby glasses that they
No.
pour at.
no, it's a
But they're also men, and this is custom,
And
and this
they're
is
used
something
to
that
it.
they
Yeah.
when they're eating.
yeah,
I mean, at least they're having bread.
true. Which it's the last. It's so okay. I learned a lot today because I
Yeah.
read it in my study Bible. It is. I think if I'm right in my understanding, the feast is on the 14th in the month of Nisan or whatever.
Mhm.
And this feast, and then the next day starts the unleavened for however many days. So, I mean, if they're anything like me,
We're feasting.
we're feasting because tomorrow is no more.
We're having all the bread.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I could have understood that wrong, but that
We're
was
having,
when I was reading my study Bible this
we're
morning.
having
That was
all
how
of the
I
yeast
understood it.
and the leavened
Yeah.
bread.
So, and then he goes on, and in this same thing, because everyone's like, no, none of us would ever betray you. And he's like, dude, Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times. The relationship that Peter has with him at this point, that would almost be like blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no way that Peter thinks that any of this, no, there is no way that any of us in this room would ever betray you. And there is no way that I would ever deny you. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, this Passover feast was not the feast that they thought they were going to have.
No.
Like, we're going to go
Especially-
feast. We're all going to go to sleep. And tomorrow we are going to continue on our journey.
Especially by the 3rd cup of wine.
Yeah.
Like things are, we're enjoying each other's company.
Yes.
We're celebrating together.
Mm-hmm.
We're,
And then
we're
then they go out,
relaxed. We're relaxed.
and then they go to Gethsemane, and they all fall asleep on him. Like, it's
Yeah,
no
of course.
wonder they all fall
Of
asleep
course
on
they
him.
do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then that next morning is when he's arrested. And then it talks about Simon, which again is interesting that God questioned me on how do you think Simon felt? Because Simon follows him into court and sits in the back and listens and takes it all in and is watching what's happening. And then after that is when he starts getting nervous and starts denying Jesus.
Mm.
And you know, like I won't go into the rest of the, the trial and the crucifixion and burial and all of that. Even just this 24-hour period of time. The disciples have no idea. They know prophecies. They know Old Testament. They know it by heart. They have it memorized. He's saying all of these things, and for them, it is obvious. They know what scriptures he's talking about. And when he starts quoting these scriptures and talking about himself in this way, oh, this Passover is not going the way we thought it was going to go. We're not just feasting, are we? Okay, let's wrap our minds around that real quick before we move on. Let's readjust. Let's see if we can go with the flow.
We're not going to get ice cream.
We're not getting ice cream, are we? Machine's broken. Sorry. We've gone to 3 different places. Nope, you're not getting ice cream. Nope, you're not going to wake up in the morning and continue on the ministry path. This is it. And obviously they had no idea, or they would have stayed awake and prayed. If you had have known that you're in this garden with Christ and he's going to be arrested and crucified within the next few days,
No.
you would not be falling asleep. You would be on your face in prayer.
Yeah. I mean, like, think about,
Or if you're Simon, you'd be
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to keep it from happening.
yeah, I think about just, there's so many times that I think back to my wedding, and like I have like 2 pictures with Tim's dad, and we didn't know that he was going to die of cancer.
Right. You would
Right
have done more
after.
with him, wouldn't you? Yeah.
If I had known, if I could go back, and if I had known in that time, and they knew he was sick, but they didn't tell us all the things because they didn't want to spoil or put
Mhm.
a shadow on our time. And we would have done so much different. And like I just think back, like, I mean, that if you knew that this was going to be your last time, this is your last dinner with him. This is your last, I mean, and this
And
is
not just with a
Jesus.
family or a loved one,
This
but
is
with Jesus Christ
Jesus.
himself.
This is Jesus Christ. This is not in the flesh.
Mhm.
Like spending time like near, close, your skin can touch his skin.
Mhm.
Being with him, the guy that you've spent all this time with, that you have a relationship with, he is your friend,
Right.
he is your brother, and he's your savior. Like
Right.
he is your like teacher, he's your leader, he's your rabbi. Like, I mean, all these things. And if you like, don't you know the next day they're like, if I only knew the regret they must have
Mhm.
been feeling once he was in the tomb.
Right.
The feelings of just, oh,
Right.
the mourning. The
Like,
mourning would have been
they
so much
definitely
worse.
would have not fallen asleep
No, they wouldn't have.
during that moment.
Absolutely not.
But in just to take it a little bit further, when they come to arrest Jesus, I understand it as being Simon. This says one of Jesus's companions. But it's for some reason in my head, I've always understood that to be Simon. Drew the sword and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. And Jesus's response to him, which Simon was a protector. He saw it as one of his jobs to protect Jesus during these journeys. So he's like, this is it. This is my moment. Y'all are going down. This ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus's response to him, like, talk about like not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put your sword back in its place. For all who draw the sword will die by the sword. Do you think I cannot call on my Father, and he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels? But how then would scriptures be fulfilled that say it must happen in this way? They've been watching scriptures be fulfilled.
Yeah.
But in this moment, I would be like, well, that is not my interpretation of that scripture.
Yeah. Yeah.
How hard would it be to then put the sword away and let it happen to him?
Nope.
But within all of the, well, this isn't what I thought was going to happen. Because not every moment after this is filled with, well, that's not what I thought was going to happen, including the morning of the resurrection, and he shows up in the house. Wait, what? You're dead. Again, well, that's not what I thought was going to happen.
Well, then also, he doesn't get to stay.
Right. Like none of this from this moment on, which I'm sure there are plenty of times within the rest of their journeys in the gospel that the disciples thought, oh, that's not what I thought was going to happen. But this is just such a major, I had no idea, but that is beyond my wildest dreams of how this was going to play out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I love it. Beth Moore said, and she quoted scripture, and I didn't write it down. I didn't write any of these things down, but you're hearing it all. There's a scripture somewhere, and I don't know if it was in the gospel or if it's like in Acts later, but I remember the quote that she gave really more than the scripture, but the quote was based on the scripture. But it is impossible for death. For Christ, death is impossible. You cannot kill that which gives life. The
Ooh.
one who gave life and spoke life into it, like, you can't kill that. It is
That's
impossible.
That's good.
It is impossible for the grave to hold him down.
Ooh, that's good.
Like, literally impossible.
Yes.
Jesus is the word of God. He is life. He
Yes.
is. And it is impossible for death to hold that.
That's so good.
I loved it. She said that, and I just had like a
hands up.
Yeah. Like, I had a moment sitting on my couch that I was like, yes, Lord.
Yes.
That thought has never entered my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Like,
so good.
you were born, you lived your life, you had your ministry, you died on the cross, and you rose to pay for our sins. But the actual thought of, like, death cannot hold him.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard that phrase before, but I mean, it was just the way that she said it in that moment that it hit me in the way that it needed to hit me. Like, it is impossible for death to keep in the grave the author of life.
Whoo, that's good.
The disciples didn't know that.
No.
It just, and then this morning I was listening to that song.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Ain't
told
no grave.
Amanda that I felt a little guilty because I was not listening to the Randy Travis version, but I was listening to the song Ain't No Grave.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
And it fits.
Mm-hmm.
There's no grave that can hold Christ. Death cannot hold him. And we are born in him.
Yes. Absolutely.
He is in us. The Holy Spirit is in us. And listening to that song today, which, I mean, the glory in all of these unmet expectations. Can you imagine if their expectations had been met and not God's?
Yes. Yes.
Like, none of this would have happened.
Yes.
If they had their way, Christ would have overthrown Rome and sat on the throne, a literal physical throne in Jerusalem.
Oh my gosh.
He would have restored Israel
Only
to his people, and Israel only.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But God's plan was for all of us.
Yes.
And if their thoughts and their idea, because his ways are higher than ours,
Mm-hmm.
his thoughts are higher than ours, and we will never understand them.
Yeah.
His plan was for all of us.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have happened any other way.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
But he knew death can't hold life in the grave.
Yes. Yes.
Those two things don't coexist. And death won't hold us in the grave. And when I was listening to that song on the way over here this morning, because y'all, I'm also going through a study right now that is all about freedom and experiencing freedom and letting go of chains and uncovering things that you might not even know are holding you down.
We know about that.
But right? Sorry. In the song this morning, the lyrics are just amazing.
Yeah, they are.
And I actually listened to them for a while. I normally just jump in on the chorus of Ain't No Grave. Like, in the end of it, they get on the if you walked out of the grave, I'm walking too. And it just like it hit me in a new way this morning because whatever your chains are, sin leads to death, right?
Yeah.
Like there is no other path. If you are on a path of sin, it
Yeah.
will lead to death.
Yeah.
Like there's just no argument for it.
Absolutely. Those are the lyrics.
You have to, yeah. So shame is a prison as cruel as a grave. Shame is a robber, and he's come to take my name.
Yeah, he is.
Love is my redeemer, lifting me up from the ground. Love is the power when my freedom song is found. Fear is a liar with a smooth and velvet tongue. Fear is a tyrant. He's always telling me to run. Love is a resurrection, and love is a trumpet sound. Love is my weapon. I'm going to take my giants down. And listening to the lyrics of it this morning
Yes.
really resonated with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it resonated with the freedom study that I'm going through.
Yeah.
He died for our sin.
Mm-hmm.
He died to kill the death that we live in.
Yes.
And it cannot hold us down.
No.
The grave, it is impossible for the grave to hold down life and Christ, the author of life.
Yes.
But when we choose to live in him and in his freedom,
yes.
there is no sin, there is no chain,
Yeah.
there is no shame or
Yeah.
condemnation that can hold us down because we have the power of the grave.
So good.
The power of the grave is in my unmet expectations.
Woo! Stop.
So whatever I'm walking through, currently I'm trying to sell my house. We had 2 offers. They were horrible. I had no anxiety in turning them down. Yeah, we're on a time limit. We're on a time crunch.
Mm-hmm.
I had no problem turning them down because I know that he has something better for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had have said, yes, let's accept this offer, it would have been like shunning and not accepting what he's waiting to give me.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like that's currently what I'm walking through. So
Yeah.
my unmet expectation in those 2 offers,
Mm-hmm.
because they were not what we needed.
Mm-hmm.
They were not what we wanted.
Yeah.
And there's going to be glory in those unmet expectations, but I had to turn them down
Yeah.
in order to receive what I know he's going to have for me. So that's my example of what I'm currently walking through. But I know that there are other things that we're walking through that are currently like, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Even raising our kids, this is not what I thought it was going to be. But the power of the grave is in that unmet expectation. God is not far from you in whatever it is that you are walking through. And although you might be at the Last Supper, listening to what he's saying to you, thinking, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
His plan is higher than our plan. His ways are higher than ours. His thoughts are higher than ours. I'm going to quote it wrong because it like just popped into my head. But now to him who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly more than we could ever ask or imagine,
Yes.
be all the honor and praise and glory.
Yes.
Because it is. He has more than we could ever perceive in our minds. And that's what the grave was. So whatever unmet expectations you are having right now and trying to figure out, God, what is your plan? Just know that the power of the grave is working in those unmet expectations.
Whoo!
I feel like I took a really long time to get around to that, but
I think Kristy should just preach. She should be a preacher. She should be a teacher. We need to get her on a speaking circuit right now.
I'll just sit my kids on the front row with their coloring books.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Y'all
they'll be
can put your
great.
kids on the front row with them.
Yeah. And if somebody doesn't color, it's just an unmet expectation,
It
and the Lord's
is.
going to do something
It is.
amazing,
Yes.
and we'll let it go.
Yes.
Annabelle might come up and start preaching too, and we just don't know.
She probably would.
Yeah.
She is so perceptive. Like, it just baffles me. When sometimes she says something and it's like,
Josh
yeah.
definitely would. He'd just be like,
Oh, he would.
Hey, I have something
Aunt
to say.
Kristy, I have something to interject here.
Can
If
I-
you would just give me a moment.
Can I just talk on the mic for 1 second? Yeah. So the Lord is saying,
Yeah.
yeah. And it'll be something about,
Bananas.
it'll be something, or it'll be something fully deep
Yeah.
with big words, and we're
Yeah.
all going to be like, where did you hear that?
Yeah. It's
Nowhere.
that roar.
Nowhere, because God just put it in his mind.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. I don't have anything to add to that except that the Lord
I know.
definitely
I'd never closed my mouth long enough for.
put some unmet expectations in my head that I definitely. I mean, we all are walking in something something big, or something has happened that we're just like, well, I can't wait to see the glory from this. I don't know what it is.
Right.
We're waiting. Like the stone hasn't been rolled away yet.
Right.
But
and this may or may not make sense, but let me go back. Let me find it. Okay, in chapter 26, during the Lord's Supper, in 28 is when he says, "This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will not drink of this fruit of the vine from now on until that day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom." My mind, that went to the second coming. Now, he could have been being very literal with the disciples, and it was, after they died and went to heaven, and he's had a glass of wine with them. I don't know. But in my mind, with you in my Father's kingdom was more of like when we're all together, like after the second coming. And it just made me think, like, that's a long time. Like, I'm sure as far as fasting goes, he can do it. Like, there's no question. Like, for us, fasting for that long on something and just giving it up altogether, because basically that's what Christ would be doing, is just giving it up altogether for thousands. His timeline is different, but whatever. My point, and I think that it's going to hit somebody because it came into my mind, like this specifically came into my mind. You might feel like the power of the grave glory showing through in whatever your unmet expectation is taking eternity to get here. And you've been waiting for it, and you've been waiting for it. It will happen. God's timing is always perfect. And a lot of times we wait for so long that we want to just give up on the whole thing. But that's not the freedom that he's called us to. We can walk in the freedom even if we haven't seen the end result. Yeah.
yeah.
So.
Well, I think everyone needs to listen to Ain't No Grave. That's your homework.
So good.
Yep.
Either version.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to recommend not the Randy Travis version, just because I feel like there's more oomph.
There is more oomph, but if
your heart says Randy Travis,
if your heart
then
says
do
Randy
it.
Travis.
Yeah.
then
Anyway,
go for it.
Happy Easter. We love you. Follow us on all of the social medias at Centel Podcast. Go to our website, The Centel Podcast. Check us out on YouTube. Go follow us on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we will see you not next week, but the next week, unless we can
Yes.
figure out a time to record next week. But I don't know. Kristy's going on a field trip.
When Josh is out of school.
Oh, yes. Josh
Yeah.
is out of school. You reminded me.
There will be glory.
Yes. We love you. Bye.
Bye.